Okay. I want to share with you a couple of the ways we've looked at success this year at Manheim. The first one I wanted to mention is an industry study conducted by Boston Consulting Group in partnership with NADA and NIADA and a number of other associations, and they named Manheim the #1 online provider, and we took that great pride in that. We've also had a lot of success by the numbers. Manheim.com has grown in traffic every single week since the beginning of the year, even in October and November, which is kind of interesting with sales down to find that there's still value to our customers and looking at values, the values of the vehicles for MMR, finding vehicles, that selection. Dean talked about when they have to be so selective about what they buy, using our tools to get there. They've also used it a lot more to buy and sell cars this year. So as of December, at the end of December, 18% of our cars we sold that month at Manheim were sold online, which is huge. It really doubles where we were when we started in January. And just to split that out a little bit for you, that's 30% year over year in simulcast, which is 30% on a pretty big number, and 100% on OVE, which is a success that Manheim shared with our independent partners that also use that platform. So that helped us at Manheim get to a goal of 33 million cars by the end of the year. So since Manheim started selling online, which we've been doing for quite a long time, we crossed the 3 million mark at the end of last year. And we think it's because we're doing what really matters to the customers. First of all, it's the results. They are buying and selling cars for the values that they think are fair. They wouldn't come to the online marketplace if it didn't work. Secondly, for the buyers in particular, it's the convenience. As Dean mentioned, they can really buy cars anytime they want, anywhere they want. And that's really around the world. I think in all of our online products, we've seen not just U.S. buyers and sellers, but also people from around the world. And that means we've also got to be anytime at Manheim. And we see that first online. We have people, on the holidays, we sold hundreds of cars on holiday days. Saturday night at 2 a.m. we're selling cars. That's driving a lot of changes for all the auctions to take what we know, what we've done very well on sale days or in preparation for or after, and bring that to the online marketplace. And requiring, changes for all of us, but it's really what we know how to do already, just taking it to a wider place. I think a great example of this is probably almost every week we get a story about somebody who bought a car on a weekend that they needed to get to a retail customer that weekend. And we hear about Manheim auctions and the independent auctions, if it's bought on OVE, what they're doing to make that happen so that, on a Saturday morning, a Sunday afternoon, that customer can sell a retail car. So let me tell you about some of the other things we're doing in terms of choice. So convenience, obvious for the buyer. I think, do it from home, do it from work, do it when you have time, do it while you're waiting for the kids' softball game to start. That makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about why they're willing to do that and take the risk with the car sight unseen, and that's about trust. And I think a lot of the infrastructure things we've talked about, being an auction-based company and our platforms being auction-based helps with that trust. It's what auctions have done forever to stand by what the service that they provide. In the case of Manheim, there's 90 places where you can take that online and bring it to the in-person. As I mentioned earlier, that's really happening not just on sale day now, but every day of the week. In the case of OVE.com, there's over 150 places where that in-person physical acceptance of the car, delivery of the car happens. And again, it's about there's people and there's an auction business behind the transaction. The other things we're doing to make that happen is really the virtual piece of it. It's the ability to call somewhere and get help any time of the day or night, call one number. It's a trade desk that Manheim has to help sell cars on the online platforms. And I think it's also about giving customers comfort to take the leap and say, I haven't done this before. Will they stand behind it the way they stood behind it when I bought it in the lane? Haven't seen it. Can I trust the condition report? And about 18 months ago, OVE.com introduced a buyback policy. which all of our signature provider auctions have to adopt. And that policy, for those of you who might not remember, is basically if you buy a post-sale inspection and there's some other terms and conditions, the auction, the signature auction, will take that car back. And we've had a huge response to that from dealers, really for taking that first step. You know, our auction partners are all good partners, but they have to buy a car or two to see that and feel that. And that policy, as I said, is in place at all the signature provider auctions. That's all the Manheim auctions. 3 of our independent partners, Ray Brothers and Bel Air and Tallahassee, and I think we've all experienced very good success with that. Based on that, Manheim is going to extend that policy at the Manheim auction for online event sales. And Nick will I'll tell you a little bit. Nick will tell you even more about online event sales. That's another option we're really providing to give customers more ways to buy and sell. But as of March 2nd, at Manheim locations, any car bought in an online event sale, whether through OVE or simulcast, will have the buyback policy available to it. So talking a little bit about online event sales, that really gets to giving people choices. And in the online platforms, in the online marketplace, we think choice is as important as convenience. That's really about when you buy and sell, how you buy and sell. So do you have an auctioneer or not? Do you do a buy now? Do you have a bid sale? Do you have it on the weekend? Do you have it during the week? And we've really done a lot to provide both the physical piece of that as well as the online piece to give people all those choices for the way that makes sense for them, again, to drive to profitability. So over the last few months in particular, we've had a lot of success at Manheim with these online event sales. We've done different styles that meet, you've seen some of the posters for some of the clients that meet different criteria and work very well for them. So Nick's really going to tell you a little bit more now about how we've used the customers and how we're going to take that to the next level next year.